Hi, this is Jerry with theholstersmith.com with a Kydex bullet point here for you. A lot of people have been asking me about my strip heater. As a matter of fact, a couple of people asked if I could make a video about it. So here it is. So what is a strip heater? Well, this is a strip heater. Basically, it's a metal box with a channel running down the center, and down that center channel, there's a heating rod. You plug it in, you turn it on, heat's emitted by that heating rod, and you're able to bend your material. In this case, these are made for bending acrylic or plexiglass. And you're saying, well, wait a second, I'm working with Kydex. How is that going to work? Well, let's not forget, Kydex is an acrylic PVC alloy. So pretty much anything that you would do to work on acrylic, you can also use for Kydex. So let's take a look at this unit. First of all, we have a top platform. That's where you lay the material, and it rests there. And you hold it over this channel. Again, the channel holds a heating rod, and that heating rod is going to emit heat. There's an on-off switch, and in the case of my strip heater, which mine looks just like this, underneath there's a thermostat control. All right. This top platform does get a little bit warm. Now, with Kydex being a little bit softer and having a texture to it, you don't want to take the chance of causing any kind of shiny spots. So what you might want to do to protect it from that heat is maybe add some wood lath strips. Now, make sure these are just raw wood. You don't want any coatings or finishings or anything like that on it, because again, this gets a little bit warm, and you don't want to release chemicals that you might be breathing, so just use plain wood. Also, once you're finished using it, the strip heater, make sure you turn it off and remove these wood strips so that they don't get accidentally knocked down onto the heating rod and cause a potential fire hazard. Or you can do like I do and just use gloved hands and hold the Kydex holster, the area that you want to bend, just over the channel. And that top piece doesn't get that hot where it comes through the gloves. So, you'll be just fine. All right, so we turn the unit on. Heat begins to rise from the heating rod. We place our acrylic or our Kydex down over the heat. And once that area becomes softened, we're able to bend the material. Now, I do recommend that you flip it over every few seconds, okay, to warm up both sides, especially with Kydex. Usually we have two pieces that have been riveted together. So you want to get even heating on both sides. Also, if you're going to do any type of acrylic bending, you don't want the one side to get too hot. You'll start to get bubbles. So what are your options? Well, you can buy a big behemoth strip heater like mine. Mine is about 33 inches long. All right, but basically it's a little big unless you have a huge shop and have more than one person working on the Kydex. You can have somebody, working on each side and doing the bending. The problem, though, is, again, this thing is awkward. I've knocked mine over I don't know how many times. I have a hard time finding a place to put it, but I've had mine for over 20 years because I purchased mine from a friend that had an acrylic fabrication company, and I did a little bit of acrylic fabrication as well. So I did a little bit of research online and found out that these are running new about $165 to $500. Ouch. Okay, so that's quite a bit, especially for the average holster maker. And you might be able to find a used one. But again, these are a little bit bulky. So in my research, I did find smaller units. This one is about 12 inches wide. And if I ever have to replace my strip heater, this is the one I would get. Price I found is less than $90. So that's a lot better than the larger units. Okay. Other option is, well, you can probably build your own. Okay, I'm sure there's probably YouTube videos on how to do that. Also, I'm sure there's schematics, but unless you're good at metal work and electrical work and can install a thermostat, well, by the time you do all the parts and put everything together, it's probably going to cost you more than that $90 anyway. Also, if you don't know what you're doing, you could have a burn or potential fire hazard there. So you don't want to get burned badly, and you don't want to burn down your workshop. Especially if your workshop's at home, then you also lose your home. So the do-it-yourself route can be done. Be careful. All right, I did a little bit of searching, as I said. I did find this place, Delvey's Plastic Incorporated. Now, I've never dealt with them, so I don't know how they are. I don't know what their customer service is. They did have the best prices, though, for acrylic as far as their strip heaters and a lot of their equipment goes. Now, again, I don't know how good they are. It says they have sold unique products since 1955, so they've been around about 4 years longer than I've been around on this earth, so they must be doing something right. But don't take my word for it. Google search it out. Again, you might want to check eBay, Craigslist, any of those places. You might find a used one. You might find a better price on a new one. Okay, but this was the best price I've seen. If you do use them, let us know, how customer service was and how your experience went. So let's go take a look at my strip heater in action. Okay, this is my workshop, and this is my strip heater. It's a 33-inch strip heater. I've got it already warmed up, and as a matter of fact, let's check the temperature on it. If I'm checking right at the coil, ooh, that's pretty hot. We're looking, well, over 500 degrees on the coil itself. So I probably do need to adjust the thermostat on this. I'll do that at another time, though. But what I've got here is an older experimental holster that I'm going to use right now. This side has already been bent. This is the side we're going to bend. And if you notice on this holster too, there is a sweat guard, and we don't want to accidentally melt or bend or distort that sweat guard. So I'm going to show you what to do to avoid that. So basically, we're going to hold the holster, the part that we want to bend, right over the heating coil here. Now, in order to protect that sweat guard, I've got a piece of sheet aluminum. I'm going to set the aluminum down, and this way, when I set the holster over the heating coil, I can use that piece of sheet metal to kind of mask out the heat from that area. Notice I'm just using a pair of gloves. I'm holding it here. Now, it's a good idea to flip it back and forth. I probably should have another piece of sheet metal over there to protect the other side, but this is just an experimental holster anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. Notice I'm turning it back and forth, checking it. Okay, it's already starting to soften up, so I can go ahead and make my bend. Now, if I have a few of these holsters, I don't want to have to stand here and hold this, so I can take a piece of tape, put the tape on it, oops, put the tape on it, make my bend, and put that tape all the way over on the other side. So it's kind of like kind of a bow and arrow style, I guess. And I've gone ahead and put my bow in there. And then I'm going to go ahead and set this off to the side and let it cool. And that's all there is to using a strip heater. Again, the key is to constantly turn it back and forth so that both sides heat evenly. And most of the time, I usually just hold this in place until it cools. But if you don't want to do that, you don't want to make a jig to hold it in place and clamp it, a piece of blue tape works just as well. And that's my Kydex bullet point. Thanks for watching.